This is episode 3 of Bnomical's Corner. Me and Hats down here, we decided to take a walk down the road to this movie theater right here that we just are sitting in. You know, it's empty, but we're about to watch Riki Oh,
Yes.
Story of Riki.
Yes.
Actually,
This is like this normally isn't a normal thing that we do. You know.
yeah,
Just a movie review of a movie, a very obscure movie
yeah.
that you probably will not see on
Yeah.
YouTube all the time.
All jokes put aside, yeah.
Yeah.
This we've actually this is all jokes put aside. This is a real theater, obviously.
Yes, of course.
But we actually already watched this movie. That we're not about to watch it.
Yes,
that's
yes.
okay.
This is a review for
Yeah.
you that have not seen it,
Right.
and are interested on seeing things of this nature.
So I was just thinking when I was thinking of an episode of Bnomical's Corner to start making movie reviews every once in a blue moon. I don't even know if I'll do another one, but I want to do movie reviews of just these obscure movies that I've never seen anybody review, and they're just some interesting special movies to me that I watched when I was younger, and they're hilarious. So, Riki Oh, Story of Riki. What did you think about it?
It was great, actually. I mean, like, if you like blood and gore, and not in a horror fashion. It's not like that. It is a kung fu movie first and foremost, but it is not your typical drunken master Jackie Chan type. Kung fu movie. It's very bloody,
Okay,
very graphic.
let me give it a different twist.
Okay.
This movie is fucked up, and this is hilarious. This movie's hilarious. This is a kung fu movie, but this movie's all over the place.
Yeah.
The story doesn't quite make sense all the time. There's a lot of times where you're shaking your head saying, "Why didn't they just do this earlier?" Or if they, it's just there's so many funny parts in this movie. The English dub is terrible.
All right, you come out, report your name, and make it loud.
Yes.
But so bad it's good. So it's funny. It's hilarious. Some of the voices are just crazy. But the story premise is this movie came out in 91. So back then they were saying in the year 2001, every jail and every prison has been privatized and corrupted and taken over by the state.
That makes no sense, but
It makes no sense.
zero.
And Riki Oh is a guy that got taken into one of these jails or prisons because he killed somebody. You find out later that is responsible for kind of killing his girlfriend.
yeah.
He is responsible for it, but not really. Like, we'll get to that later. But this movie, first of all, this movie's on YouTube. So if you ever wanted to watch this movie,
Full movie.
you could watch it, which is cool. You don't, but I actually own the DVD. I owned it a while. Like, I got it a long time ago. This movie just goes all over the place.
Yeah.
You just watched it. We were
Story-wise.
watching it right before, like watching clips of it and stuff to refresh our minds with it. But
Story-wise, it's very all over the place.
yeah, very all over the place. But in the same sense, it's a simple story as well.
Yeah.
It takes place all in this jail.
Corrupt prison system
Yeah.
run by I can't remember how many bosses, like 3 or 4 bosses.
So there is a power totem pole that they present. First of all, oh man, this movie's like, it's hard to talk about this movie because again, it's just like I don't know where to start. But basically, there's a narrator at the beginning. It's funny as hell because this narrator is just talking and telling you about the movie, and then he starts talking about there's a power, the ultimate guy in power is the warden. The next in leadership is the assistant warden. Below them, there's 4 wings. east, west, north, and south. And each of those wings has a leader to them. Okay?
By 2001 AD, capitalist countries have privatized all government organization. Prisons, like parking lots, have become franchised businesses.
But then what's funny about the narrator is all of a sudden he talks as if he's talking to you, the audience, and he goes, "None of you are worthy enough to see the warden or assistant warden yet." But what's funny about it is that the narrator never comes back to talk at you again.
Really?
It's just like some weird, yeah.
But he never comes back during the whole movie, right?
No.
Weird.
So it says, and then he says like, "Just know your place" or something like that. So the first scene goes where he's checking in to the. Remember, he's
to
getting,
the prison.
Yeah, checking in the prison. They grab him.
Riki Oh, 21 years old, sentenced to serve 10 years for manslaughter and assault.
They scan him, and the beeper goes off around his chest.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the guards throw him into this just conveniently placed X-ray machine.
Listen,
which doesn't even make sense, but okay.
Listen, these guards, like when you use an X-ray machine, if you go to the dentist, they'll be dressed in like a plated thing just for the smallest thing they put around your mouth. This thing is like a, I don't even know. I don't even know. It's huge.
It looks like a float tank or something. That but anyways,
humongous.
yeah, he throws him in front of it.
Puts his whole body against it.
Yeah, they find out that there's like bullets inside of him, and they say to him, "What are those?" And he goes,
"Souvenirs."
And it cuts right after that. It was hilarious. So you kind of get a sense of who Riki Oh is there. Oh, they also try to attack him real quick, remember? And he blocks them with
blocks the
he
billy
blocks
clubs.
them. Yeah, that was the whole thing. He went through the
metal detector.
Yeah, he went through the metal detector.
They thought he had a gun.
Yes. I talked a little backwards there, but
no, you're good.
The scene's hilarious.
It is.
So
he's packing.
Yeah.
In the worst audio English dub I've ever seen.
But hilarious. So it's worthy of listening to.
Still a good movie.
Yeah. Like this movie is super. I don't think it's supposed to take it serious at all. It's super slapsticky, and
I don't know. I think the actors of the original movie, I think they took it serious.
Maybe they took their part serious, but there's some really wanky stuff in it, and we'll get to that too.
Chinese culture was weird, man.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah. Yes. But the next scene is when you meet one of the first leaders, and you just see how cruel they are. Basically, There's some old man, and he's talking about how he has like this toy for his son, and he's making it, and actually before that, he gets his towel and uses it. That's what happens. He gets his towel. The leader gets the old man's towel and uses it.
That's how it starts.
And the old man says, "Hey, excuse me, that's my towel." And they
the most polite way.
They throw his ass across the shower, like across the room into like the window, jack him up. That's when he says, "I got this toy for my son, and I'm making it for him." They
Toy
fucking
train.
Busted over his head. He then tries to attack them with one of his wooden whittlers that he has with metal on it.
A lathe.
A lathe, yes. And they fucking jack it off of him and slice. This is the first time that This is the first time in the movie you're like
that you see true
okay,
gore.
this is something. This ain't Jackie Chan. This is like gore. They fucking slice his face completely open. Yeah, this movie is not like your typical.
Slice his nose off.
This is super gory.
Yes, very gory. Absurdly gory.
They slice his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
In comes Riki Oh after that and trips the leader, trips him, and then there's just this conveniently placed board with nails sticking out of it.
Multiple nails.
The leader falls when Riki Oh trips him and smashes his face right into the nails. Yeah, and you watch all this happen.
Side, yeah.
Yeah, it's super fake looking.
Oh,
it's
very
fake, but it's hilarious.
You can see it's a dummy.
It's a dummy with like blood coming all out of it. And he gets up and he's like this. So his hand also got caught in there. his hand
he
in a
tried saving
board.
it.
There's like a board in his hand, and he's like, ah!
It's actually quite funny.
And it's like, what the hell am I watching here? But it's hilarious. And so the guy, one of the leaders, thugs, goes up to Riki Oh, puts his hand on her shoulder. Remember?
Yes.
And you remember what he says?
Like, what was his problem?
He said, "Hey," yeah. He says something like, "Hey, what's your problem, man?" And he turns around and says, "You talking to me?" And after he says that, they just leave, scared.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he backs away scared.
these scenes make no sense.
No sense at all.
Riki Oh takes a small liking to the old man.
Yeah, because it was.
It cuts to
saved him.
it cuts to a scene where the old man's supposed to get out of jail, and the jail denies his probation.
What's that? They rejected my probation. The captain told me that. He
He
said...
sent a letter home behind our back.
Because they're corrupt.
Because they're corrupt. They kick him in his fucking face because they're corrupt. And so he gets so depressed, he like hangs himself, kills himself. Riki Oh's pissed now. And so... And this is hilarious. Like, why would you give a fuck about this? Like, I'm not saying don't care about him, but you got more stuff to worry about than, like, he is, like, truly, there's a scene where he is, like, truly pissed about this old dude dying.
Yeah,
Like, he
yeah.
known him for years. He literally just met him.
And every time...
He's like, no!
Every
I'm
time
like,
he
holy
gets
shit,
upset,
dude.
he starts fighting the air.
He gets pissed.
In the
Yeah.
prison yard.
Yes.
Like, he's like, ah!
Yeah. So, the dude that got the nail in the face, he's alive still, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
where you should be dead, I would assume. If you got tons of nails in your fucking
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Or
he
at
should be
least
dead.
hospitalized.
Because the
But
way
he's
he...
just, yeah.
Yeah, well, he went to the infirmary. They showed that.
Yeah, but then he just has wrapped up and he's fine. He's walking around. He's like, hey,
He should be dead because
he
it
should
punctured
be
his brain.
fucked up, dude.
If not dead, brain dead.
Yeah,
at least.
yeah.
You know.
But he gets pissed, and there's a guy in this jail. His name's Zorro. He's a humongous dude, like that eats people apparently.
Yeah.
He sicks Zorro on Riki Oh, and there's a huge fight scene
In the prison shower.
in the prison shower. And Zorro gets jacked up.
Zorro. Zorro wasn't writing any Z's that day.
Yeah. Again, another violent. Every fucking scene with Riki Oh when he gets pissed, it's violent.
Yes.
And-
And he always did this signature move whenever he bled. And it seemed like it set him off or gave him strength to fight. He would always lick his blood. And then
Exactly.
he was ready to fight.
He would always take some of the blood from his face, give it a little lick, get his fist, and just basically explode people with his
Yeah.
punches. It was like Fist of the North Star shit.
He's liquefying people.
Yeah.
So back to Zorro, literally getting a chunk of hamburger meat.
Hey, where's the beef?
Like the way he was laying,
That's what it looked like.
It was like seriously.
He
like,
punches a hole basically in his whole stomach.
Oh, my
And his
goodness.
guts are just hanging out.
Yeah, like he punches a hole to the side and then rips. So he's ripping forward. So there's just an open wound. And,
So he's pretty much dead.
oh, he's done.
And yeah, then the guard, as a guard should do, comes and intervenes, and he just says the corniest line. He goes, "Another move and I'll hit you." And it's just those lines right there after those scenes are just like, it just tops it off of being hilarious.
What gets me is how he knows what this guy just did to this guy that is supposed to be the baddest man in the whole prison.
He's literally punching holes through people. Yeah. Like, how can... This is another part where I was saying, like, why didn't you just do that? Why don't you just do that to everybody? Like,
yeah.
Just... I guess you don't want to kill everyone, but
I guess.
But everyone's corrupt, pretty much.
Seriously.
And the people that aren't, don't do that to them. But that's just the other hilariousness of the movie. It wouldn't be a movie if Riki Oh didn't stay in the jail. And
that's true.
And a couple things we're going to talk about in a couple minutes. He finds some stuff that he has to stop, and he saves people. So
I guess you can't have the hero literally murdering everybody.
Right, exactly.
It's like, this is the hero of the story?
Yeah. So after this, he's in this jail cell, and we go into a great old flashback scene, which is just... It's just, like I said, it just upgrades the movie on funniness. Like,
yeah.
He is super corny. When it's a flashback to when he's younger, Same exact size, looks exactly the same, only he's in these really silly-looking schoolboy clothes.
Yeah.
He's running around all jolly and friskily, and it's a training session with his master, who's apparently his uncle or something.
All right.
And so,
It's so weird.
and so they start training, and he tells him that he has had powers since he was about 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
Superhuman powers. So then they start training in this graveyard, and the way that they train is he picks up gravestones and hurls them at him, and he breaks them.
Those families are upset.
First of all, where is this graveyard? Like you said, man, like you know how much of a desecration that is to all these gravestones.
Gravestones are not cheap.
Yeah, what kind of people are you? Like that's
Seriously.
so fucked up. Like, anyways,
He's just like tossing like what?
yeah. So it kind of just shows how he like trained, and his uncle's super silly too.
Weirdest
At the
way.
very end of the scene, his uncle chuckles and
Good.
you know, and
Yeah.
some almost maniacally. It's just
Well-
really strange.
Well,
man.
Ricky was also very cocky. Like he thought
Yeah.
that just because he was showing off some of his moves,
Yep.
that he could beat his uncle, and he charged at him. His uncle just with one punch laid him out.
Bitch smacked him.
He bitch smacked him.
Something, yeah. He punched him or smacked him. So
Yeah, and then he was like, "Is that when he started laughing?"
he did laugh then, and he
Okay.
laughed at the end. He kind of
Yes.
laughed twice in that whole flashback scene.
Yes.
But after that, we get introduced to the assistant warden, who is pretty hilarious. But
Captain Hook.
yeah, Captain Hook, one-eyed Willie, has one eye. He like puts it in a jar, puts it in water, whatever. But
yeah,
the-
a jar that he drinks out of.
Yeah, but something I caught even when I was younger and got it on DVD, I caught that and they never explain it. They don't say why except for whatever reason. But behind him, he has a humongous collection of VHS porn.
Yeah.
And I was showing him today. I was like, look at this.
It makes no sense.
So you'll see if you ever watch the movie. He had not only does he have a huge shelf of it behind him. There's another shot where they show his other wall, and there's like 4 more shelves of porno, dude.
Yeah, because they're
So
on,
where he's
both-
watching the porn, we don't know. We asked ourselves that today.
They show you all angles of the room. There's
Yeah.
no TV. in
Yeah, he's basically masturbating in that chair that he's sitting. He has one chair and it's in front of a desk, and on the desk's a ton of food. He has food and porn. I mean, weird.
I think honestly, the
Yeah.
way his eye is taken out because he accidentally tried scratching it out.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the hook hand.
But yeah, so after that, I think we're introduced to the next leader. His name's Oscar. He has some crazy tattoo, and he's pretty ruthless. He kills somebody with a machete. He is ordered now to kill Ricky because Ricky's out fucking dudes up.
Yeah,
You gotta go kill this guy.
taking out
And for some
the gang.
and for some reason he gives him a butcher knife like this big or some Rambo knife. What the hell is that? Like what? Okay, if that's a special weapon to kill Ricky. In comes the fight scene with Oscar, which is hilarious. Again, another funny ass, makes no sense scene where Riki Oh gets his arm slashed in half. His arm is hanging there with tendons. And how does he fix himself up there, man?
He does the impossible. He sits there and with his teeth, he's playing like a field medic. He's tying the tendons like you would if like you had a broken hand or something. He's tying it with his teeth, and all of a sudden he gets in ready fighting position.
Perfect. That's all he
Get
needed
outta
to do.
here.
All he had to do was tie his tendons back together. It was working. He was punching.
That's not how tendons work.
He's back on the battlefield. But Oscar, what happens to him is he's pissed because he kind of failed in fighting Riki Oh, and he couldn't win, so he stabs himself in the stomach,
Yeah.
slices his stomach open. Then his last dying thoughts are, "I'm gonna take you with me." Oscar takes out his intestines, starts to try to strangle Riki Oh with them. Oh, by the way, Riki Oh tries to save
Yeah.
everyone.
He tried to save him.
He tries to save
That's
people
right.
that kill him.
He tried to save him.
Yeah, he tries to save him. He feels bad for everybody for some weird reason after they're trying to kill him, and they're corrupt. I don't know.
Yeah, so this guy just wraps his intestines.
Around him, tries to kill him, and Riki
That's
O just
weird.
fucking. What did he do? I think he just killed him.
Whoa,
I think he killed him.
Did he kill him?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Roscoe died. Yeah.
But I think he died from his own wounds. I think
He may
Ricky
have.
like backed off of
He
him.
might have just disabled him or whatever he did. But
yeah, like he like broke his
Yeah.
because he still had pieces of intestines when he backed off of him.
mm-hmm.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Who lets that be their last dying ditch move?
Yeah. Exactly.
What?
And then into like another whole plot twist where I don't know if they were making like another movie at the time, but all of a sudden you find out there's a poppy seed farm inside this jail, which I don't know if correlates to some of the poppy sales that are going on outside of the jail. I guess it does.
Yeah, I think they were growing the drugs in the jail and selling them outside.
Yeah. And so Riki O burns it down. I don't even think it shows you how he does. He just burns it down.
No, I don't think you just see him standing by the fire.
Yeah, and in comes
One of the bosses.
another boss. Yeah,
What the hell's
a lead.
going on?
Oh no, they did fight then.
No, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was pissed that he was burning the poppy
Yes,
fields.
yes. So they did
so
fight.
They did fight, and he actually got the drop on Ricky.
Yeah, exactly. So those guys fought. It was a pretty cool fight scene. And Ricky also at the time makes friends with another dude in the prison for whatever reason.
Yeah, he needs to stop that.
Yeah, he needs to stop making friends with people. A tongueless dude who couldn't talk because the warden ripped out his tongue from talking too much.
Mm-hmm.
So then we are introduced to the warden. So we met the assistant warden, the porno guy.
Yeah.
Now we're introduced to the warden and his son. And the son is really, really corny, hilarious.
Very corny.
He's dressed. He's like a grown son. He looks like a 12-year-old, but he's dressed like a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
He's really silly.
Very like adolescent
Yeah.
for his age.
The guy that he was friends with, who was the tongueless guy, they tried to get him. The jail warden tries to get him to kill Ricky. He refuses, and then he gets his whole fucking jaw ripped off, cut off, and then he gets burned to death.
It was the quickest. It
Yeah.
was like
Fatality.
Quick, hilarious to watch because it's fake as hell.
very fake, but still
Ri-
gruesome.
Burned alive, and then Riki O finds out about that.
Has another shadow fight.
Has another breakdown, and that's when after that the warden and the son arrive, and you see them. Okay.
Yes.
Ricky goes behind bars. He is like it says, he's against his own will, just staying here because if he wanted to, he could leave. You know, he's got all that power, and you'll learn about that. Spoiler alert at the end.
Yes.
But the leader and the warden go into where Ricky is with the son, and just to see him, and he introduces the warden to Riki O, and then Riki O starts to attack the warden. I think by throwing cement at him or something.
Yeah, he in the scene previous to this, him and another boss, I guess he was.
Yeah,
yes.
leader.
Were him and another leader were trapped. The warden just didn't care. He was like, well, the guy didn't get out of time. We're gonna close this door behind him and flood this chamber.
Yeah.
So they can kill Riki O because they couldn't stop him. So they were gonna flood this chamber and encase him in cement.
Yeah, that's how they were gonna try to kill him.
Along with this leader, and just like you said before, he loved to save people, even though they were trying to kill him.
Yeah, well, Tarzan trying to kill him. He punches him through his throat, comes out of his jaw, rips his whole jaw off. But then he tries to save him again. It's like some weird. I don't know. They fight and then they save each other. It's weird.
Yeah, but because after they're inside the jail cell and he does punch him, they activate a lift that's pressing down on him. So it's trying to squash him.
Right.
But so this guy that he literally just punched, broke both his knees.
Yeah.
Is on his knees, bloody, holding this press with his shoulders.
Yeah.
And he's
Saving
like,
Ricky.
He's like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna save you though. Even though 2 seconds ago I was trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And you put your fist through my throat.
Exactly. So he does. Riki O gets out, crushes that dude. All of a sudden, this little tiny picture shows up. I guess I don't know how the hell it got out of his pocket and made it out there.
It just magically flies
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Riki Oh picks it up, and he goes, they all have people that are waiting for them on the release.
Yes. All of these people that are bosses and being forced to do things,
Yeah, they all have relatives that are waiting them on the release.
they should be out.
Yeah,
they should be
exactly,
free.
and they're using them. So it is just a silly ass scene, man.
I mean, I don't know if you were going to talk about it, but the way that they're using them.
Oh yeah, we are going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say it right now because we're getting there.
They are cannibals.
They take certain people and again, this is all obscure. You kind of learn it like through weird scenes. Like you'll just see them drag away a prisoner or something. The warden will. They're crushing them up in a meat grinder.
They're grinding them up in a huge, hilarious meat grinder.
Right. But before the end of the movie starts, you flash back again. These flashbacks are weird, and you see exactly how Riki Oh's girlfriend died. So she sees a drug deal or something, and people doing
opium
drugs. She sees it when she's walking back from school or something. She tries to get away. Some guy stops her, kidnaps her for seeing that, takes her into this apartment, drug lord, crime house. Mm-hmm. They weren't. I don't even know if they were going to kill her. Maybe they were, but she basically gets up, screams, runs to the top of the roof, and just runs full blown straight right off the roof and kills herself. And
it makes no sense why she did.
And I chuckled so hard when she hit the ground because it is so fake, and it's like a
mannequin.
It's like a mannequin, yeah. And it was just hilarious. So that's how she died.
Why didn't she try going downstairs?
Yeah. So Riki Oh got pissed and killed the crime lord. He found him in the streets one night and blew out his kneecap.
Oh, yeah.
And then punched the hole and divot in his brain and killed him.
Yeah,
that's how he ended up in jail.
You better die after that. You're going to have some problems.
So, pinnacle of the movie at the end, this is getting towards the end, they are like trying to really kill Riki Oh. They basically can't.
Yeah.
So they capture him, put him in chains, put him underground, and they make every single prisoner get dirt from a shovel and start burying him. He's eventually buried. They wait overnight. The next day, and he's buried completely now underground, like 6 feet under, buried. The next day, they dig him up. With a crane. He's hanging there. They think he's dead. Of course, he's not dead.
No, of course, superhuman.
In comes torture scene. They put him in this. I don't know where the fuck.
Oh, it was like rebar bent.
Yeah.
To the like.
But how did he get in there? Like, I guess they could bend it.
They had to have bent it.
Yeah.
To his
It's just
form.
the weirdest like capture device.
Yeah.
So they got him like he says in some crazy rebar.
Yeah,
that's
thick rebar.
That he's just standing there and he cannot move, and someone is just beating the crap out of him in the face with a wrench.
Oh my god!
Like a huge wrench, like a humongous wrench.
Yeah, it was a big rig wrench.
Yeah, and then after that they fucking open his mouth up.
they're beating him to the point where like where if you asked a person this question, they wouldn't be able to answer you because you're beating them senseless.
Exactly. They throw razors in his mouth.
Oh my god.
Then they tape his mouth shut with some sort of duct tape. Mm-hmm. And then while the razors are in his mouth, they're beating him in the face. I think just with a fist.
Yeah, with a
but the razors are now. Yeah, the razor. This scene's bloody as shit. Mm-hmm. Razors are now sticking out his face. The warden rips off the tape. Riki Oh spits the razors into the warden's face.
I don't know. Deep.
Yeah. And,
one is halfway in his cheek.
Yeah. So anyways, that scene's over. He is now recovering again in his jail cell.
Yeah.
And now all the prisoners are trying to like have Riki Oh like regain his strength, regain his spirit. They're telling him to eat.
Because he's fighting for the people now.
He's fighting for people, and they know that's basically his only chance to get out. Their savior is Riki.
Yeah.
So they give him some rice or some shit. He manages to eat it. He then it enters into the very last scene, which is when the assistant warden come in trying to find Riki because they didn't see him in the jail cell. Mm-hmm. They enter his cell. He's on the ceiling.
Yep.
He's a spider. He fucks them up. They go into now the scene where you really find out about all that meat grinding stuff.
Disgusting.
People were getting thrown in this meat grinder. You actually see some dude get thrown into the meat grinder.
His son's like tasting different types of meat.
Yeah. It's like some weird. It just turned really weird at this point.
Very
Like,
weird.
What the fuck? I thought they were just normal.
Honestly,
Now they're cannibals.
Yeah,
I thought they were just some opium people.
I thought
I thought they were going
just
Bruce Lee. They went out like Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, complete change
Bruce
from what
Lee
I thought it was.
and
Seriously, it was
So-
Hills Have Eyes meet Bruce Lee.
yeah. Great description for Riki Oh. So they go in the kitchen, I guess you could call it, whatever this place is.
Yeah, it was like their
Yeah.
suite. It was like his office.
Yeah, it's like his office.
He got a huge ass, overly sized comedic meat
right.
grinder.
Yeah. He fights the warden. What do you
Yeah.
think of that fight?
Very unexpected at the end. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting this dude.
The other head scratcher. So amongst
Oh
these
my
people
goodness.
having powers, this guy's apparently a creature from
like.
hell. That
Yeah,
look-
yeah, that's what he looked like. Yeah.
A bad-looking rendition of Goro without the 4 arms. I don't know what the hell this was.
Yeah. I would say that.
But
yeah.
he was just some hilarious-looking, puppet-looking. Basically, he transformed into a humongous guy that was beating the shit out of Riki Oh for a while.
Yeah, he was.
Riki Oh always gets the upper hand.
Oh, of course.
Fucked him up. Put him in the meat grinder, which was the bloodiest scene in the whole movie. He's shoving this huge guy into a meat grinder. Blood all over the place.
Horrible.
He's dead. Okay. Funniest part of the movie coming up. End. Right? Fight scene's over. He goes out into the prison yard. He looks at the wall of the prison. He punches a fucking hole that's the size of a small semi truck can
Yeah,
get through.
Mack truck can definitely get through.
He turns to the prisoners and he goes, "You're all free now." End scene. End of movie.
This makes you wonder, why didn't he do that day one?
So, great movie.
If he did that, he wouldn't have lost his old friend.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have
Right.
lost the mute.
Why didn't he go in there, bust everybody up this bad,
Day one.
bust through the wall, leave? 10 minutes. Might
10
take that.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
You know? He wanted to. Maybe he was traumatized so much that he was kind of just
Oh,
like
from his wife.
from his girlfriend that he
okay.
lost, that he kind of like lost hope and he kind of didn't care. Maybe I'm just making silly excuses up for the guy.
Yeah.
But funny movie.
It's just that his willingness to help
Good
the
movie.
bad guys more than the good
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
makes no sense.
It was strange at times. Like, what movie does make sense anymore?
True.
But it was it's a funny ass movie. I think some of the English dubs are wrong sometimes too. Maybe
is.
that's why
It is.
doesn't make sense.
I don't think it goes with the context of the story. They just put it
Yeah.
in there.
But for sure, even without the English dub, it's entertaining, man. I used to love watching that movie. It's still funny watching now. If you ever want to get a laugh, and if you like old movies, action, and you like violence, check it out. Story Riki Oh.
I put this on one of my favorite lists of movies types. I call them awesomely bad movies.
Exactly.
You know, movies-
Actually, it's Riki Ho,
yes, it's
the
his real
story
name.
of Riki. That's the whole title of the movie. So,
And what a story it is.
yeah. But thanks, guys.
Yes.
Bnomical here. Hats down. Watch the movie.
Yes, please do check it out.
Peace.
Peace.